Oh, it's nice to have some people, yes, I like people. Hi. People are okay. Well, I tell you, if you like people, you better never become a minister, that's for sure. Would be the wrong profession.
Yeah, it's very long.
So what do you do?
I'm a retired software engineer, and now I work part-time, a couple days a week at the library, county library.
Well, that's nice.
And I'm an activist. Right now, we're trying to cure ballots. A friend of mine ran for the Meadville Council. 5 votes behind. And so we're trying to cure ballots, which are those ballots that had a bad signature or a date or something.
Yeah.
And start voters to accept those.
You know, the game.
I co-organized or co-founded a community lakeside project. We're in college of Lakeside Amity, trying to raise awareness about support. We had a group last night at the Spirit of Christmas concert event, and it was well received.
I'm gonna be lighting the Advent Street.
So you have
But after that's after.
and are you going to leave it on through this service? Okay, Reverend, or I will extinguish.
It doesn't have to be part of it.
I can do that while I'm extinguishing.
Need a bowl in like a minute.
Yes. Grab a water service and I.
1 minute.
Tyler, would you give us a go at 10 o'clock?
Yeah, she's gonna bring the bowl.
I'm sorry?
She's gonna bring the bowl.
Oh, Mary.
Yeah, you gotta start.
Good morning, everyone. It is my privilege to welcome all of you here in the sanctuary and those of you home on Zoom to the hybrid gathering of Summit UU Fellowship's Sunday service. I'm Ren Corbet, and today we are honored to welcome again Reverend Lone Broussard to the pulpit to ask, why not a star? How do we find wonder and magic in our lives and in this season? We are recording today's service and we'll turn it off for our community gathering after the service. And now let us turn our minds and hearts to our musical prelude.
This is December from Fanny Mendelssohn Hensel's Dossier, and in keeping with the theme of wonder, partway through, the piece breaks into a Bach chorale, the usual translation of which is "From heaven above to earth I come," and you really feel the wonder in that.
Sure.
Thank you, Barbara. That was lovely. Summit Unitarian Universalist Fellowship welcomes all, those of all faiths, creeds, beliefs, and those of none. We favor orthopraxy over orthodoxy, correct action over correct belief. We welcome those on the political left and political right, red and blue, liberal and conservative, those of all sexual and gender identities. The bar is pretty low. You must be loving and caring to all. We do aspire to the shared principles of intentionally drawn from world religions, humanist teachings, nature, science, philosophy, and personal practices. The mission of Summit is to commit ourselves to building a more compassionate, just, and sustainable world. Reverend Lone Jensen Broussard grew up in Copenhagen, Denmark, lived in Iraq for 7 years, and has served churches in many US states before retiring to San Diego, where her son's family lives. Luna holds a degree in psychology and a Master of Fine Arts from Louisiana State University, as well as a Master of Divinity from Meadville Lombard Theological School. Welcome, Reverend.
Thank you.
Announcements. Thank you, Andy. Welcome back from your trip.
Hi, I'm here representing Social Justice in Action today to remind you that this Sunday is the last Sunday for our Crisis House donations. So we're back in person. Our giving tree is back. It's been a Summit tradition to adopt a family in need for the holiday season. We're partnering with Crisis House again, and we have adopted a family of 4. They have asked for donations of gift cards so that families may purchase gifts and a holiday meal of their choice. Today is the last day to make your donations either in person or online. Mary has the lovely box to put your gift cards in, Target or Walmart cards if you brought one today, or you can still donate online on the Summit website, right where you give your Sunday plate offering. Just be sure to use the drop-down menu and choose Social Justice in Action. And those funds will be used to purchase gift cards, and I will be delivering them to Crisis House this Wednesday so they can distribute them to families. Thanks for everybody who has joined us in making the holiday season brighter for our local family this year.
Thank you, Andy. From Social Justice in Action News, we have been very active. We've several members of our group are working together with a new organization in East County, Lakeside Amity. Yesterday, Lakeside Amity was involved with the Spirit of Christmas event in Lakeside. We shared a booth with our Baha'i friends. Before that, we were involved with the statewide United Against Hate Week, sponsored by the Department of Justice, San Diego's Department of Justice. We had a booth set up in Lakeside in front of the library. We are now moving towards getting, probably after the holidays, we're moving, making good headway in organizing a LGBTQ plus information and education group out of our committee. We want to resurrect the PFLAG group that was here, run many years by Bob and Mary Dryden. And we have other ideas in the hopper, and so we do need help. And this is an opportunity for all of us to make our actions correspond with our words. So reach out to me, Andy, Aaron, Sandy, Laurel, anyone who is anyone else involved in the committee. If you would like to join us, we do need your help. I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry, Mary. Yes.
I do have, well, I guess I have my mic on. Can you mic? There we go. I do have an announcement for y'all. Next Sunday is the annual RE Family Holiday Service, which usually is a play and can be a huge production. This year, we are doing a no rehearsal nativity pageant. It's going to be very entertaining. I hope y'all come. And it's going to be more entertaining to be here in person, if that's possible. And we're going to be inviting the audience to participate. So maybe you want to embrace your inner angel or your inner shepherd, or you might want to be part of the Holy Family, or maybe meh, meh, you'd like to be a cute little animal. So I'll have costumes for folks to put on during the play. And I hope you'll come. We're also going to have our child dedication service, which we haven't done in a long time. So children of all ages and families with children of all ages are welcome to participate. You just need to let me know by Tuesday. So thank you.
Thank you, Mary. For more than 10,000 years, the Kumeyaay people lived in harmony with this land. Fishers and hunters, farmers and artisans, chemists, physicists, astrologers, and marine biologists. We acknowledge our fellowship resides on unceded Kumeyaay land, which continues to be the home of the Kumeyaay people. And now we'll have our chalice lighting.
Good morning. You know, this is my first time back in an actual pulpit with actual people. Yay. I love it. You know, it is different in person. And that's no offense to those of you who are watching me on Zoom. I understand. The chalice lighting today is by Reverend Charles Howe. And I actually known him many years, and he's written several books about the civil rights movement within our denomination. And so I chose his because his life has been a light too. We light this chalice to affirm that new light is ever waiting to break through, to enlighten our ways. The new truth is ever waiting to break through, to illuminate our minds. And that new love is ever waiting to break through, to warm our hearts. May we be open to this light and to the rich possibilities that it brings us.
Now please stand as you are able and sing while masked our you hymn, and then recite our aspiration. May love be the spirit of this fellowship. May the quest for truth be its sacrament, and service be its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge and freedom, and to help one another in fellowship. This is our aspiration.
Good morning. Can you hear me? There we go. There we go. Good morning. It's a new month.
Yes.
It's December. It's the last month of the year. Can you believe it? No. So with a new month, we have a new theme. We work with the Soul Matters spiritual collective, where religious educators, ministers, and lay people all come together to create the series of themes that we use. And this month, our theme is wonder, wonder. And it's a great time for wonder because we're entering into, as the seasons are getting, the days are getting shorter and the nights are getting longer. It invites us to wonder, doesn't it? When you're looking up at the stars, how many people got to see the stars more frequently? I mean, it's still been a little foggy, but if you take a minute, then it's nice dark sky, you can really see the stars. So one of the things that they have for us to talk about today was this magic wand of notice. The magic wand of notice. When you take the magic wand, you can notice something. So you wave your magic wand. We all have magic wands, right?
Of course.
We have a magic wand. Does everybody has, put up your magic wands. Y'all got a magic wand. So we wave our magic wand of notice and we notice something that we maybe didn't pay attention to a minute ago. So waving my magic wand of notice, and I notice on my shoes, I have Velcro. Now that might not sound like much. Has anybody, probably not in this generation, but there used to be a time when there wasn't something as wonderful as Velcro. Does anybody remember when it first came out? It was like, I was a little kid when it first like became available, and everybody was like, this is like really cool stuff. In fact, there's conspiracy theories that it came from the aliens and all that, you know, Velcro. But I thought about this, putting my shoes on this morning. What if I didn't have it on here? I might have a buckle or a tie or something else. That's just one little wonderful thing, one tiny wonderful thing that makes it so much easier for me to get dressed in the morning. And noticing, that's the magic wand of notice, that tiny little wonderful thing that makes your life just a little more wonderful. And Velcro doesn't sound like much, right? But it really does it makes it easier for me to put my shoes on. So in this season of wonder, I encourage all of us to use our magic wand of notice. It might look like this. It might look like your finger. It might just look like your eyes. And noticing something and thinking, how wonderful. That little thing that I've looked at every day, didn't really pay attention to, but it's really special. So one of the wonderful things about this time of year, as the nights are getting longer and darker and the days are shorter, is we have all these wonderful holidays to celebrate, right? And today is the first Sunday in December, which means that this is the first day of Chalaka. You've heard me speak about before. I have my little Chalaka box up here that I made last year. And for those that don't know, Chalaka is a optional, as are all, UU celebration, where you can choose for this next week, from this Sunday to next, to each day pick one of our 8 principles that we look towards here at Summit, that we aspire to live into covenant with. So pick one each day and do your best to really think about it and live into it. And that you could do something really special and fancy, or you could just say, I'm just going to focus on the first principle today. So today being day 1, the first principle is it's respecting the inherent worth and dignity of every person. Now, how wonderful when our inherent worth and dignity is respected. How about if we start with ourselves? How do I respect my inherent worth and dignity? You know, so think about that and wonder about that as you start with Chalaka. So I'm going to light our little Chalaka candle, our little chalice. And then it's also time for our Advent season. So I found our Advent wreath. And I believe this is the first Sunday of Advent. It could be the second, but we're going to start with the first. So you light one of these candles each Sunday until Christmas. So I hope you all have your magic wand of notice, be it a wand, a finger, or your eyes, and you're going to notice things and just think, how wonderful. So thank you for listening today. And let's do our children's affirmation. And then we're going to go back and start figuring out what we're doing next week, best we can. So we are Unitarian, Universalists, a people of open minds, loving hearts, and helping hands. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Mary. Now let's rise and sing People Look East, number 226 in the gray hymnal. And the words will also be projected on the screen.
I invite you to enter into a spirit of meditation, prayer, reflection, whatever you call it. It doesn't matter very much what you call it. I invite you to sit back, get very comfortable if you can, or as comfortable as you can at a certain age. That's all you can do. And focus inward. Let us focus inward. And be real honest with yourself. These holidays and holy days, for some of us, are a very tender time. These holidays and holy days, whatever you celebrate this season or don't, they can be hard on some people. Those of us who are old enough have suffered losses, remember very happy Decembers and some not so much so. What is it that your heart needs this season? Look deep inside and imagine that you have a guiding star, a glimmer in there, a light that will not be extinguished no matter what. We layer stuff on top of it and all the things in the world and in our personal world. And so it might seem dim, it might seem like it's not there, but it's there. What does your heart need this season? Whatever it is, find it. Give it to yourself as best you can. There is no right way to celebrate these holidays and holy days. But the right way is to take the time to wonder at whatever beauty you can find, whatever hope you can find, whatever love you can find, well, whatever fun you can find. Focus on that star and let it enter into your being. And if you can't quite find it yet, that's okay too. It's still there. It'll bring you light. Let's sit in silence a moment. Amen. So be it.
If Summit is a valued community in your life, please support us by making an offering today. Our Zoomers at home are invited to contribute to our virtual plate. The link can be found in the chat box, which will take you directly to the donation location. And we acknowledge our intrepid pledgers. Everyone keeps our doors open. Now we will gratefully accept your generous donations during the musical interlude.
When You Wish Upon a Star. This is written in 1939, music of Lee Harline.
Why not a star? We need a star to guide us. I do, for one. We need to remember what really, really matters in our lives. And yes, we need joy and we need hope. And we need a star to guide us. Maybe the star is there already, shining deeply within our souls. But if you're a bit like me, you may have allowed all the stuff, you know, the daily stuff, right? The worries and the all too real suffering to overshadow that light. And it may seem dim, or it feels that, well, maybe there's no light there at all. It's not easy to do what is asked of us. I mean, asked of us in life, just for ourselves. At whatever stage of life you're at. Now, I happen to be at, you know, the older stage of life. And, you know, it's sort of you wake up in the morning and, oh, well, let me see what's working today. You know, it's not easy to find our way among the personal worries, the pain and trouble, and then add to it the world we happen to live in. But we have much to be grateful for. The cruel war in Ukraine reminds us how much we have to be grateful for. We're sitting here, there are lights, we have electricity, we have heat, if we want it, most of us. And most of us are quite well fed. Some of us a little too much sometimes, but that's how it is. In Kyiv, I was inspired by that. They put up a Christmas tree, a 40-foot pine with energy efficient lights powered by generators. And this is what they said. Putin is not going to steal our Christmas. Putin will not steal our Christmas. We're going to have Christmas. We're going to have the lights no matter what. And here we are. I'm sure many of you have been to Balboa Park to watch The Grinch. How many of you have gone to see The Grinch? One person, well, if you haven't, if it isn't over yet, you have to. It's a great play, really. And of course, outside, there's this wonderful, very oddly colored Christmas tree, pink and red and all kind of colors you don't imagine, but it's quite wonderful. And we can look at that. And the Grinch in the play has a change of heart, of course. And he discovers both his heart and his pain. And, you know, very often when people are difficult, as you know, it's because they're in pain. You know, it's physical pain, it's emotional pain, it's all kinds of things going on. I know on days when I don't walk so well, I feel like a grump, you know. I can be quite Grinch-like too. Putin, like all brutal dictators, well, he seems utterly heartless. He has no qualms about ordering bombings, targeting schools, hospitals, civilians, power plants. Now there's the challenge. We want to care about the world, and as became clear, because you talk about doing activism, which is a great thing and a good thing to do. But the challenge is, how do we human beings hold both the awareness of suffering, whatever kind of suffering it is, and the joy of the season in our hearts at the same time? That's a challenge. It's a lot like trying, okay, if I tell you, don't think of a pink elephant, what's in your mind? I'm quite sure you're thinking of a pink elephant, aren't you? You can't help it. It's impossible. That's what worry is. not being able to stop thinking about something. And of course, then there's the other side. It's less now after a couple of years with COVID, but there's all the images of the perfect holiday, you know? The perfect holiday, and you can get frantic trying to create a perfect holiday. And then at this time of the year, my hearts grow more tender. I remember what I've lost. I remember the times that we danced around the Christmas tree when I was a child, and you know, there are all these faces, and I'm sure that's true for you too. And here's the secret, is really that you acknowledge that. Grief has to be acknowledged before your heart can be open to joy. One mistake, I think, is when people try to avoid it. Again, it becomes like trying to avoid thinking about the pink elephant. It will be there all the time. So if you're worried, if you're hurting, acknowledge it. Sit with it, be friendly with it, if you can. As Emerson wrote, it needs to be dark enough before you can see the stars. And that's a good way of looking at how we can hold both joy and all the other stuff in our hearts. This is certainly the season of far too many bright lights and loud messages that ask us to buy and celebrate. I mean, but is that what we really need? Now, I don't mind buying Christmas presents. I think it's great fun. But is that what we really need? Celebration, yes. But maybe a look inward will help us to find what it is we really need and really want. Think back to when you were very young, and these holy days seem filled with wonder. Remember when you could believe in Santa Claus? I mean, I remember when my granddaughter still believed in Santa Claus, and, you know, I gave her a present from Santa, you know. And so she very seriously asked me, "Do you know Santa Claus?" She said, some kids say Santa doesn't exist. He is, you know, he doesn't exist. I said, well, Santa is a lot like angels. They are there if you believe in them. If you came from the Jewish faith, you had no trouble believing in an oil lamp that burned for 7 days, did you? You know, without thinking that, well, maybe the rabbi sneaked in there and, you know, did something. We need a star to guide us to a place within our hearts where we find hope, goodness, and dare I say, the sacred. Now, here's a story told by a father who nearly forgot what matters most in this season. It had been a very busy December, and his wife and him were frazzled, hurried, and tired. They had gotten their 7-year-old son, Tommy, what he had wanted very badly, and had pestered them relentlessly for nearly a whole year, about a new bike. The children were so wound up they couldn't go to sleep. And it was past midnight before the children settled down. And the parents admonished them not to get up till everybody could go down together and share the joy of Christmas morning. The father worked for hours putting the bike together and put it by the tree so it would be the first thing his son saw when he came downstairs. I'm sure some of you have been there putting things together like that and wishing there were better directions. Finally, the father went to sleep happy, looking forward to seeing his son's face when he got his gift. Well, maybe an hour later, when all was still dark, his son ran into the bedroom shouting, "You gotta come and see this. You gotta come. Yes, you gotta come and see this." He was really so disappointed, the father, that Tommy had not waited till the whole family were there. And so the whole family stumbled downstairs into the dark living room. Tommy was standing by the window, pointing. "Look," he said, "I see it," pointing at the North Star. "It's the Star of Bethlehem. I see it." Over by the tree, the bicycle gleamed unnoticed. "Oh," said the father, thinking only of bed, maybe another hour of sleep. "That's very nice." Tom looked at him and he said in that reproachful tone only a very young child can, "You be glad of that star. You be glad of that star." At my age, it's harder to remember how easily magic and faith and wonder once came to me. Sometimes I think of my brain as a complicated file cabinet full of memories of experiences. Anyhow, that's my excuse when I have trouble recalling something. I'm sorry, it's filed here somewhere. I'll find it. How full is your file cabinet? You may need to close some of the doors. With every year, we accumulate more. Losses, joys, worries, adventures, all the stuff of life. I mean, our file cabinets are full. When I was a child, every Christmas Eve, I would leave and we celebrated on Christmas Eve. We danced around the tree. You know, we did the whole Scandinavian thing, you know. And I would leave the warmth of the room and the happy noises of my last extended family, admiring the presents inside, and would go up outside and I would look up at the stars. I loved the story of the three wise stargazers, the Magi's, astronomers or kings, who set out on a long journey to follow one bright star. And I have no doubt their families told them, "Don't go." No doubt their friends thought they were utterly foolish to believe in a miracle and go so far in search of a coded message. I saw them so clearly in my mind's eye, dressed in blue, crimson, and purple velvet, carrying an ancient telescope, moving ever so slowly on their donkeys and camels, heavy laden with incense and myrrh, to find a stable where the star stood still. Right over the baby, the mother, the sheep, and all those other familiar characters. Sometimes out there in the dark, I could make myself believe I actually heard the bells and footsteps of an ancient, glorious caravan moving across my uncle's otherwise quite earthly and ordinary snow-covered lawn. And after a while, I shivered in the cold, and I remembered it was almost time for marzipan candy and picture bingo game, and so I went back inside. But I kept a little of that magic inside me, tucked away in the secret corner of my heart. We need a star to guide us. My ancestors and yours navigated the oceans by stars and sailed across, all by starlight. The North Star in the deep south, where I served some churches, would lead escaped slaves to freedom. That's quite a guiding star, isn't it? For me, the North Star meant home. and it still does. At this hour, though, we have to remember thousands of refugees, women, men, the elderly, and the newborn, desperately trying to find their way to a new safe home. And I bet there are women carrying within their wombs a child that might just be the next hope for this world. Will we take him in? There are plenty out there who says we should not and cannot. Is there any room at the inn? Immigration is a complicated issue. I'm an immigrant myself. Believe me, I know that. But let us remember in this season that at the center of the Christmas story, there's a baby, a baby. We time-worn folks look into the tiny little flower face and wonder, who are you really? Who are you? Do we have a potential savior of mankind or humankind in dirty diapers? A prophet of peace eating mashed pea and spitting them out at you? A crying divine child that will change the world? What the dreams will be, we do not know. What we can do is love them and nurture the goodness within them. Help them find the right path and ask the right questions. Will our nation find its heart and soul to do just that? In a spirit of life and of love, I cast my prayers into the winter sky and the wide open universe. Now, I admit, in San Diego, it's not much of a winter sky. You know, we have so much sunshine. And for those of you who say a winter sky, that's not much of a deity, I agree. But when I stand and look at the stars and the planets and that deep, dark emptiness of space, that's as close as I come to eternity while my heart is still beating. God is my name for what we cannot name, for our human smallness seen against a night sky. Wonder and awe is part of that name, and so is the stillness at our core. Somewhere behind the clouds, I will find my guiding star. What's my point here? A child's heart is open to magic, and adults sometimes forget. But we need magic and poetry as much as we need food and facts and the occasional marzipan candy. I'm not asking you to forget the facts you know, or deny science, or suggest that a star can really stand still. But why not a star? What is it in me that I can still believe what seems impossible? Like peace on earth? In our children's faces, we see hope. Claim that hope for yourself this season. Joy is born in the human heart in this season. It comes to us in a dark background, like the stars do. We still light the menorah, decorate Christmas trees, in spite of it all, like the people in Ukraine. No, they're not going to take the season away from us. Share joy as a protest, a message, a manifesto to King Herod and the Putins of this world, who so fear losing their power, who so want to silence the voices of hope that they will kill even babies for it. Like hope, one child escapes the executioners to bring us great joy. And who knows, maybe it'll be a girl this time around. Jesus, whoever we say he was, brought hope of the seemingly impossible to the world. Love your neighbors. Know that the kingdom of God is already here among us. And most of all, you be glad of that star.
Thank you, Reverend Luna. Now let's stand and sing as we are able, and sing the first Noel, number 237.
We extinguish the light of the chalice, but carry with us the spirit we found here today. Carry with us the hope of a star. May you find joy this season. Amen.
I'd like to thank all the members of the Sunday Service Committee who prepared today's gathering, especially Maritina Morgan, Serafina Galante, Carol Schnabel, our Zoom team, and our Hospitality Committee, who welcomes you to the salon after our question and answer gathering here. Now let's sing our closing circle song.
Little circles.
No.